Our next story is brought to you by NordVPN. Help secure your web traffic and protect you from snoops, spies, and anyone else from stealing or monetizing your data. All for 75% off at nordvpn.com/TYT. Use the code TYT and get a free month now.
Donald Trump spoke at the Turning Point USA annual conference, shindig, summit, whatever it is they want to call it, deplorable organization with disgusting human beings. And in the middle of his speech, here's what he had to say to continue inciting more threats and violence against freshman Democrats.
They're petrified that they're going to insult 15 people and lose an election by calling out these 4 people, the squad. No. By calling them out, because we don't like when they talk about evil Jews. We don't like when they say horrible things about Israel. I don't know, they have a big problem because they have others than these 4. I could name another 20 right now without looking at a note. I could name another 20 that I think are in many ways worse. They're worse. They're not in this group. But they're worse than this group, and they're Democrats. And at some point, we will be naming them, if you don't mind, because we want to get the word out. We have to get the word out.
So, as we know, Donald Trump's words do encourage people to act out in violent ways. We know that right-wing talking heads like Sean Hannity encouraged people like Cesar Sayoc, who sent pipe bombs to Democratic members of Congress and to CNN to do what they did. I mean, there are impressionable people in the country, maybe some people who have undiagnosed or untreated mental health conditions, who hear that type of messaging and actually think that, oh yeah, these Democratic lawmakers said that they hate the Jews. They have never once said that. That was a complete and utter lie, and the President of the United States is spouting that nonsense with the very intention of riling people up and possibly, inciting violence against members of our Congress. This is crazy. But look, the reason why I say Turning Point USA is full of deplorable people, and that's not to say everyone who's in the organization or is a follower is a bad person. I'm talking about the organizers, the people who actually work there, right? Look, there are young, impressionable people who maybe don't know some of the stuff that Turning Point USA does. But just to give you an example, they've put together a professor watch list with the intention of targeting what they consider left-wing professors. And many of them have received threats, have been confronted by people, their family members have received threats. I mean, this is all about getting together and intimidating political opponents. It's all about getting together and going after individuals they disagree with. It's gross. And it's no surprise that they would support and be, staunch supporters of someone like Donald Trump.
Yeah, that list too. I mean, it just really shows that there's a lot of discussions that we have nationally that are incredibly shallow and fake, but the pro-free speech discussions are so absent any actual devotion to those concepts. Like that they say the most important issue to us is to make sure that on college campuses people can express whatever opinion they want. If you express left-wing views, we're going to track you down and try to get you fired.
They essentially put together an online doxing list of professors they disagree with. That is what they do. That is what they do, and they proudly, flaunt it. And I mean, that's just one issue that's come up with Turning Point USA. Never mind the various instances of outright brazen racism. We've shown you those videos. People have gotten fired, and they think that somehow those repercussions somehow rectify the situation. No, they don't. They don't. The organization as a whole is meant to do what it keeps getting in trouble for, right? And they don't really hide it. I don't know. It's we have to.
The entire thing is frustrating. If Cesar Sayoc had waited, if he hadn't done what he did when he did, if he'd waited 6 months, does anybody think that he wouldn't have targeted the members of the squad? That if he'd just gone to a few more months of rallies, and so that the list of enemies that were being shouted into his ears all the time was updated, that he wouldn't have sent it to AOC and Rashida Tlaib and others?
I have no doubt he would. I have no doubt he would.
And the thing about Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson, all of them, I know that they've given up whatever attachment to political values that they had, and it's all just devotion to Donald Trump. I get that, but very rarely does that sort of, I guess self-centered partisan activity actually extend almost suicidal levels, where they tried to dodge the subject of Cesar Sayoc. They said they would continually say the pipe bombs didn't even work. Why are you exaggerating? Well, what about this? What about that? Effectively normalizing sending pipe bombs to members of the media that you oppose. He sent it to CNN and stuff like that. Like, they are willing to gamble that there's not anybody who's gonna send pipe bombs to Fox News, because they want the idea that you send pipe bombs to the people you oppose. It's really not that big of a deal from their point of view. They work at places like that.
Yeah.
And they are willing to risk their own safety and the safety of the people that they work with.
And then at the same time, they'll argue that they're concerned about free speech on college campuses.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, we are living in a country that claims to be a democracy, a representative democracy, when in reality, there is daily active intimidation against anyone who wants to speak truth to power, speak out against Donald Trump, just tell the truth about what Donald Trump is really doing.
Yeah.
And it is pretty incredible because there has been great reporting, but overall, the false equivalency that we've been complaining about in the media is still there, right? Treating both sides as if they're equal or neutral, and that, or being neutral in reporting these stories as opposed to objective and telling the truth about which side is actually violent and dangerous and poses a real threat and risk to our democracy.
Well, hey, you made it this far. You must really like the Young Turks. Thank you, we really appreciate you. Now, another easy way to keep supporting us also helps keep your internet activities and data private, all with a push of the NordVPN app. Head to nordvpn.com/TYT right now for 75% off of your next 3 years.